We were going to show Exhibit 153, the animation of the surgery on Mr. Villa. Can we hit the lights, Mr. Kelly? And doctor, if you would, if you could just narrate this animation as we go through it to explain to the jury what's going on.
Okay. So notice he is facing face down. That's what prone position means. So you can get to the back of the neck. He still has his halo on because you need to keep the neck stabilized. Even positioning him for surgery, you could paralyze him if you displace the fracture. The incision, sorry for the gruesome incision, but that's what we have to do. And retractors allow you to just spread so we can see deeper. The part that's being left out is that there's muscles that actually are on top of that bone, and you have to carefully get them off of the bone so you can see this kind of a view. And here, very nicely you can see the bones laid out, but you really don't know which is which, so we use an x-ray in surgery to confirm what level that we're working on. Pedicle screws means that screw is going into an area of the bone that is not where the yellow is, where the spinal cord is, and not where the artery is, which is right close by. So it's booby-trapped. You really need to know your anatomy. It makes it look very easy, but look at all the fractures, the location. And did you see how the bones just drop down? That's to create the curve. And do you see the bend in the bar? That's to create that gentle curve of cervical lordosis. So it's not just a straight line like a pencil. We're trying to make that curve again in his spine. You bolt it. Above you're stable into the bone. And below, there's nothing the matter with T1, the lowest bolt, but you need that to be stable. And that burr that was just used was to make the bone bleed. If you've ever laid tile in a bathroom, you want to make the surface scratchy so the adhesive can actually stick to it. We're doing that so the bone graft really adheres, so that you make all of that paint that you just saw one giant amalgam of bone, not multiple levels. Fusion means you're making all those separate bones into a single bone, and that stabilizes the spine.
He gets sewn up, and it looks like it gets sewn up nice and pretty. But did it leave a scar on him?
Yes. So this is called dermabond, which is crazy glue in essence. But underneath that crazy glue is stitches as well. But remember, this is a video of something that's alive. So the way the collagen lines up in the skin, you can make it so beautiful to your eye that it perfectly lines up. But then the body decides how it wants to heal, and it makes this woolly-like, immature material as it tries to close the open space, and you make a scar. But in some people, it makes a turbocharged scar, and we call that a keloid.
When you had a chance to examine Mr. V a few times?
Yes.
And did you have a chance to look at his scar?
Yes, he does not have a thin line like that. He actually has a keloid from top to bottom, which just shows you the immaturity of the body trying to heal his skin.
Can we see that at Exhibit 13-3, please?
13-3 is marking identification.
So there you can appreciate the length. And that incision was made in the midline, and you can almost see it's slightly off to the left, and how wide it is. And the keloid can be sensitive. It's healed, but it can be sensitive. And no one, you win a Nobel Prize if you figure out how to keep that from happening.
Okay. We saw the end result of the surgery. And did you also view x-rays that we could look at to see how it actually looks in his spine, the completed product?
Yes, I even took x-rays in my office and studies. Well, you should see at least what one of the x-rays look like, what the rods look like.
I got one here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Can we see the x-ray from Harbor UCLA from May the 1st, 2013? That's at 174-1.
There you go.
Can we cut the lights, Mr. Kelly? And can you tell us what we're looking at?
So you can see on both sides parallel, up above, you see a total of 6, 2, 4, 6, right? And then you see a jump, and then you see 2 more that are lower down. You can see on this other view to the right here, despite them trying to create a gentle curve in his neck, his spine is not even straight up. It's still not quite great. It's a little pointing in the wrong direction, kyphosis. And that makes things hurt. It's not lined up the way it was before. It's a good job. I'm not saying no. They did the best that they could. But now you can appreciate you have to purchase a grip in the bone above and below so that you're anchored properly, and then the fractured fragments are stable and they can go on to heal.
Is that permanent for him?
This is permanent. The only time you would ever tell someone to remove that hardware, if you broke your ankle, a year later I'd tell you to take the hardware out. But if you have this in your neck, unless it becomes infected, God forbid, unless the rod breaks or the screw pulls out, leave it alone, because it's booby-trapped. You do not know where the artery, the nerve is. It's all wrapped in scar, and it's dangerous to go after just because. There needs to be a reason.
Okay.